All right. You guys should be working on your warm-up. You have to fix the errors in the program so that the fruits list only contains fruits and the colors list only contains colors. So the first thing you probably want to look at is in the code is the colors and that are, or the fruits that are listed. Orange and lime, those can be considered colors or fruits, which is why it has right underneath it, colors equals fruits. And if you look at the next part with extend, that is where the error comes in. All right. Logan, what'd you come up with?
I just defined colors.
You what?
I defined colors.
What do you mean you defined colors? How did you define colors?
Put colors equals in the brackets and then put the colors.
You mean you just added another list? Is that what you did? Okay. So, I mean, yes, but you're wanting the program to run it and make that list as opposed to you doing it. Anybody come up with it? Did you get it? Say it again. No? Anyone in the back get it? Okay, so look at your code there on line 12. You have fruits.extend and you have colors.extend. Right? So that orange and lime can go in either fruits or colors. And you have those defined. At that point, you have fruits and colors. You have a list for that defined, fruits and colors. So what you could do then is simply say fruits equals fruits plus, and then you have that new list of apple and mango. So you would be concatenating, adding the apple and mango to the fruits, and then colors equals colors plus, adding the purple and yellow, like this here. So those are the only two lines that get updated. And originally it was fruits.extend. And so what we did is we said fruits equals fruits plus apple, mango, colors equals colors plus purple, yellow. When you've got it in, run it, check it, see that it works, and then hit submit so we can go to the next part. Okay. So once you hit submit, you're going to go ahead and open up that next planning. We're looking at a human check mix-up. And what we're going to do here is we'll use lists to rearrange and check a sequence of sprites. So I want you to think about the CAPTCHAs that you see when you go to new websites, when you try to make new accounts for things. Sometimes they give you letters or words to try to decipher and type in. Other times they ask you to check a specific item in a group of photos. Okay? So what we are doing here is many websites protect data using a test to make sure the user is not an automated bot. Make a quick memory puzzle for a user to solve. So when we hit Run Solution, these are the sprites in the correct order. So you look at it and you're trying to memorize them. Tree, pineapple, I don't know what that is, igloo, book, light. And then we try to put them back. Tree, pineapple, igloo, book, light. And then once you get them correct, they allow you to go back or open the website. Now, what I want you to notice is you have to press click in order to continue. Okay? And then once you decide your order, you don't have to drag the item. All you have to do is click in the order that they become or that they go. Oh, and they tell me to try again because I flipped those two. Okay. So all you have to do is click. So it is checking what? What do you think it's checking? Okay. All right, so input is your clicking to start it, and you're clicking to put the items back in order. Output is where it shuffles them up for you and where you are getting your results back at the end. Okay, so it displays the correct order. That's output. Then it displays them shuffled. Then it gives you, thank you.
I just wanted to ask really quick, was that a major grade or a minor grade?
Major.
Okay.
Yeah. And then tells you whether you got it right or not. Okay. So, how many sprites appear to be placed in order? There were 5 sprites. There's 8 possible options for the sprites, so that means that there are 8 of them in there, and they don't repeat. Okay, so that's key. Out of those 8, they're not going to repeat. And the same sprite should never appear twice in that list. Now, the requirements are to randomly choose images from the file name list to make a list of correct sprites, and to copy and shuffle the answer list to make a list of sprites to rearrange. Then compare 2 lists for equality to see whether the user solved the puzzle. So in your planning, you have to make a list of all the image file names, then shuffle it, and make sprites out of the first 5. The user's sequence can be compared to the correct one by making a list that contains the correct sequence, and then use list equality to compare it to the list of sprites that the user has chosen. So your basic structure includes importing the libraries, setting up the window and graphics, randomly choose correct answers, make correct answers into sprites, and make list of shuffled sprites and set up other starting variables. Then you have your loop. And while the window is open, you let the user click to move past showing correct answers. Let the user click to choose sprites. Position all the chosen and unchosen sprites and check whether the user got the order right or wrong, and then you finish the frame. So things to think about are, how can the correct answers be chosen? Well, we're choosing them, the user is choosing them by clicking on them, and then they go into a list. And then that list is compared with the correct sequence. Your plan, I put up here, and I will leave it up there, okay? And I will open the other one so that we can take a look at it. All right, so everybody go ahead and turn around so you can get a quick glance. We have two libraries we're using, TSApp and Random. Your graphics, remember you have to do the window with the graphics window. You have a background, it should be there, and then you have to add that object. Then you have to use a for I in range of 5, because that's how many sprites you're using. Rectangle equals tsapp.sprite, empty button pressed, and then you put 0, 0. Rectangle.center, and then you've got some numbers there, and I'll help you guys with those. And you have a window add object rectangle. Then you have your instructions that have the font, the color, the size, etc. And then you add those instructions. Then you have your image files list that has all of those in there. You shuffle those image files, and they are, then you have this correct sprites. It's an empty list right now. So then you have your other for I in range. And remember, again, we're using 5. So I want you to see that sprite equals tsapp sprite, and then you have your image files, and that's the I is 1 through 5, okay? Sprite center, and then you are going to append correct sprites, which you just made here. That's where it's going to be put into the correct order. And there you have your window add object. So you start off with a variable that you've made false. You have 2 lists here, chosen sprites, clickable sprites. They're both empty. So here is your instructions.text, and then you have your main loop. While window is running, and you think about if not choosing and TSApp was mouse pressed, choosing changes to true. More text. And then for sprite incorrect sprites, you append clickable sprites, and then you randomly shuffle the clickable sprites. Okay? And I want you to notice you have that if, then you have elif. Okay, so here you have if not choosing and was it pressed, elif choosing and pressed. Then you get the XY position, and you change clicked on sprite to false. And then you have for sprite in clickable sprites, and then an if statement checking on that XY position. And then if the sprite was clicked on, you append it to chosen sprites and remove it from clickable sprites. This is about the positioning. This is about checking the answers, because you're checking to see if chosen sprites equals correct sprites, and then you finish the frame. Okay, so this is a longer one than we've done in a couple. There's a few things that you're going to have to go back to refresh your memory. As you get started, I encourage you to talk to each other. Let me see if I have everything here. I encourage you to talk to your neighbor, talk things out, And I'm going to leave the plan up there. I am also going to have a printout so that if you feel like you need to come and look at code because something's not working the way you think it should, come look. Okay? Again, you can't take it with you. You can't take a picture of it, but you can come look and get that info to help you out. But I also want you to help each other out. I also want you to look back at old code and try to figure things out as well. Okay? So one thing, your program should use random shuffle and list equality to mix up the sprites and check whether the user got their order correct. So here is your shuffle, random shuffle, and here is your list equality. So those are two helpful hints there. Okay? And I am going to leave the planning up here so that you get a basic structure that you can start working from. And then you guys go ahead and get started.